take care of your homestead, your business, and everything else throughout the winter months, Hanson's is offering 10% off all their tree care services, fully described at hansonstree.com for everyone in News Talk STL Nation. That's 10% off all tree care, pruning, grinding, and land clearing, and more. Hanson's also, of course, has plenty of fantastic organic mulch to protect all your landscape beds during the mean months ahead. No job too big or too small for Hanson's. 24/7 available at hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. Going to continue to track an AM drizzle. That'll continue to clear up as the day goes on into the early afternoon hours. Highs back towards the mid-60s. Going to be tracking overnight lows Wednesday into Thursday for Christmas Day, 53 degrees. AM fog into Thursday morning, going to be dense once again, 65 degrees for Christmas afternoon. Then into Friday, 71, Saturday, 70. Then into Sunday, going to be tracking some chances of rain and a cool down to 44. From the First Alert for Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Bring joy to the world, it's the thing to do. But the world does not revolve around you. Don't be a jerk. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Happy holidays. Welcome to Colombo and Company on News Talk STL.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Christmas Eve is here. We're just a couple hours away from our annual News Talk STL Family Christmas. But we've got just a little bit more to talk about, a little bit more to do before we start the holiday. This is Colombo and Company. I am Tony Colombo, in studio with producer Ashlyn, and we have got another packed show for you this afternoon. As I mentioned, make sure you keep it here after the show and throughout tonight and into tomorrow, and enjoy the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special. I mean, obviously I'm very biased towards it, but I think it's just great programming and just the perfect atmosphere to your Christmas celebrations. So make sure you check it out. I think that you will enjoy it. Lots of great Christmas music and great stories from all the staff and folks here at News Talk STL, just sharing Christmas stories and memories and playing great music. So keep it here. It starts right after this show at 4:00 this afternoon and runs through noon tomorrow. So all your Christmas Eve, all your Christmas morning festivities are covered by the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special. I got to say a big thank you to our sponsors, including Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant, Gulf Shores Restaurant, Reality Net Service Realtors, Ruthie's Family Restaurant, William Brothers Meat Market, and more. Just great sponsors that make the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special possible. You can get all the details about it if you want to go to our website, newstalkstl.com. Visit those sponsors' websites, support the people that support us, and join us for the Christmas special tonight and through tomorrow morning. Today, we are going to have some fun. You know, it's Wednesday, and that means we usually open up Closest Cabinet at 3:00. So we always have fun on Wednesdays. We always have fun on Fridays at the end of the week. And this is kind of, it's the end of the week for many of us, many folks. So we will definitely have some fun. We are going to have Closest Cabinet, but it's going to be a very special edition, Christmas edition of Closest Cabinet. Mark Close and Skip Weber from Weber Chevrolet are both at their various family Christmas gatherings. So our very own Joey V, producer Joey V from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show, from the Todd Showalter show, which you can hear on the weekends here at News Talk STL, is going to join me for a very special edition of Closest Cabinet. That's going to be in the 3:00 hour today. We're going to Have some fun. We're going to continue. I was on with him yesterday, filling in for Tim Jones and Chris Arps, and he did his movie review of the new Avatar film. And we're going to kind of pick up on that. We're going to talk about pop culture. We're going to talk about some silly news stories happening here at the end of the year, going into the new year, and just have some fun to wrap up this Christmas Eve show and get you ready for the extended holiday weekend and for the Christmas special. So that is going to be a whole lot of fun. But before that, we've got some news to tackle. We'll be joined by Danny Define. News Talk STL contributor Danny Define is going to be with us in a little less than 10 minutes. And today we have got more madness coming out of the state of Minnesota. I mean, just how bad can it get in Minnesota? Just another crazy story coming out of that state. I'll fill you in here in just a few minutes. We also have a big announcement from the United States military that they are developing a AI tool, and what they call a critical first step in the future of warfare. A statement that was made by the Pentagon officials regarding this said that AI is going to have a big impact on the everyday functioning of the Department of War in the future. So, I mean, I think AI is going to have a big impact on the everyday functioning of everyone in the near future, but this is really interesting, and they shared some details about that. I'll fill you in on that issue. We'll talk to Danny about it, get his thoughts. That'll be something for sure that we also talk about on Monday when we get back after the holiday break. Every Monday, we talk to Mike McClary from Intervine. He's our AI big tech expert here on the show. And I would love to get his thoughts. Looking forward to talking to him and getting his thoughts on this idea of AI taking over. I don't know. Being involved with having some influence on, having some control over the military. Sounds a little Terminator-esque, does it not? So, yeah, we'll get into that story as we go through the afternoon. We've got a Green New Deal sounding type legislation coming out of the state of Missouri that is going to make you groan and roll your eyes on this Christmas Eve. I'll fill you in on those details in a little bit. We've got some end of the year stats to talk about, including just how biased late night quote comedy shows have been as far as the guests that they've booked and the political leaning of those guests that have been booked by the late night, again, in quotes, comedy shows throughout 2025. And I don't think 2026 is going to bring any difference at all. So we'll get into all those stories and more as we go through the afternoon. Oh, I wasn't going to break yet. We're a little early. I mean, I love the music. We can always pump the Christmas music. I was going to talk about the Department of Education first. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to sound like I was going to break there. I apologize. So I was going to, before we get Danny on the line, like I said, we'll get into all those stories and more with Danny Define as we go through this busy 2:00 hour. But first, I want to roll out this story. I touched on this yesterday, but we got into multiple conversations with our guests that kept going down different directions, and I never really got to unpack the story yesterday. So I'm gonna roll it out here, and we'll probably get Danny's thoughts on this as well when we get him on the line here in just a moment. The Department of Education will begin garnishing wages of those with defaulted federal student loans starting in just a couple of weeks, next month in January. The Trump administration announced back in May that it would resume collections on defaulted federal student loans, including wage garnishments and seizure of Social Security benefits for the first time since 2020. It was in March of 2020, at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, that the government paused referring federal student loans to collections. Now, the Trump administration has said that it will introduce garnishing wages in early January after providing student and parent borrowers ample heads up to repay their debts. Garnishing wages means that the U.S. government is authorized to order employers to withhold up to 15% of their employees' wages after taxes, which would contribute toward paying off their student loans. Quote, we expect the first notices to be sent to approximately 1,000 defaulted borrowers the week of January 7th, and the notices will increase in scale on a month-to-month basis, unquote. That's from a Department of Education spokesperson. Back to that announcement, quote, all federal student aid collections activities are required under the Higher Education Act of 1965 and Debt Collection Improvement Act of 1996 and conducted only after student and parent borrowers have been provided sufficient notice and opportunity to repay their loans. Many Democrats have vowed to continue to fight the Trump administration from garnishing wages for student loan borrowers. Some of those names, are the ones that you would expect. Ayanna Pressley, Congresswoman out of Massachusetts, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Cory Booker. This is not, as it will be, I'm sure, reported and presented in many areas, very many news outlets. This is not the Trump administration creating something or starting a new practice of going after and garnishing wages and, forcing these folks that are in debt to pay back their debts. It's simply a return to what the law is and what multiple acts of Congress and bills have determined is the correct process in the past. It was one of the many things that Democrats took advantage of during the pandemic to, buy votes, in my opinion, score political points, whatever it may be, to suspend that back in 2020. But the Trump administration is reinstating that policy, and I'm sure there will be lots of backlash and discussion of that in the near future. We will get Danny Define's thoughts on that. You can bring the music up. We get Danny Define's thoughts on that story and more as we go through a busy Christmas Eve. Get you ready for the Christmas special, which starts at 4 p.m. Thank you for being here and listening to us. This is Colombo and Company on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Wonderful time of the year. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. With those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call, it's the happiest season of all. Live and local.
Well, here's what's on my mind. I think I got the solution to immigration.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli, and my favorite sandwich from Capriati's is the Wagyu beef French dip. So good. It's the au jus that makes it. And the Wagyu beef is pretty good, too. I love Capriati's, and you will, too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Make us part of your holiday this year.
No quid pro quo, only ho, ho, ho.
With the News Talk STL Family Christmas.
I'll be home for the holidays.
We'll share personal stories.
There's more.
And play our favorite Christmas songs.
News Talk STL's Family Christmas.
Beginning Christmas Eve at 4. Brought to you by Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant, D. Gregorio's Food Products, and Realty Net Service Realtors.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but that when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good, casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need to understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
Larry Connors along with Jerome, and we're wishing you a most blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light.
Doesn't feel right interrupting this.
From now
So good. Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL. We'll be bringing you some great Christmas music and stories from the News Talk STL staff, Christmas stories and memories and things like that. Our annual family Christmas special starts at 4 p.m. and runs through noon tomorrow. So all of your Christmas Eve and Christmas morning family festivities, it's a perfect background, perfect atmosphere for what you are doing. And I recommend you check it out. It'll definitely be what we are listening to at the Colombo house tonight and through tomorrow morning. All right. As I mentioned, before we get to that Christmas special, we still got some things to talk about. And here to help us, excuse me, on this Christmas Eve is the great Danny Define, News Talk STL contributor. Danny Define on the line with us now. Merry Christmas, my friend. How are you?
Tony, Merry Christmas. This warm weather, it's a little bit different this year.
Right?
I just was wearing shorts and a T-shirt, but between you and Jamie Allman's playlist, I'm getting really in the Christmas spirit now. So your music taste is on point today.
Well, that's all Ashlyn. You got to give her the credit on that. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's like 65 degrees out there right now. I have my classic Christmas sweatshirt that I wear every year on. And I was like, I was worried that it was too hot to wear my Christmas sweatshirt today. Like, yeah, it's crazy, but you know what?
It's the thing. Nice. I'm leaving for Christmas mass here in about an hour, Tony, and I'm going through my Easter bin.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah, no kidding.
Khaki shorts.
No kidding. Well, I appreciate your time, my friend, because even though it is Christmas Eve, there's still lots going on and a lot to talk about. I want to play you this sound from this Democrat in Rhode Island. I'll set up the story in a second. I just was waiting. I wanted to wait till we had you on the line to do this story because I thought that you and I could have some fun dunking on this woman over in Rhode Island. So we'll get to that in
Democrat from Rhode Island.
Oh,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So let's just say that it's one of those do you know who I am stories that don't work out well.
Oh boy.
And they never do. But so before we get to that, I wanted to get your thoughts on what I was just talking about in the last segment there. The announcement that's been made by the Department of Education that they will begin garnishing wages of those with defaulted federal student loans starting in January and starting in early January. I'm not going to get all the details again, but the announcement from the Department of Education, the Trump administration, said that the first letters to the first approximately 1,000 defaulted borrowers will start going out the week of January 7th. And the administration said, that we're going back to the policy that was in place for decades before the pandemic. Democrats changed a lot of rules and tried to change a lot of rules and change a lot of laws and, do a lot of bad things during the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of those actions back in March of 2020 was to suspend the garnishment of income of the folks that are behind on their student loan debts. So this is not, as I think it will be reported by many, this is not the Trump administration putting something into place to go after, the poor kids. This is just a return to the way things were before the pandemic. What do you think about this move? And man, have we gone completely 180 on this federal student loan debt situation, where just a couple of years ago, Joe Biden was trying to get rid of it altogether. And now Donald Trump is saying, you gotta, if you took out a loan, you gotta pay it back like everybody else.
I have a couple schools of thought on this, Tony. On one hand, of course, you take out a loan to go get an education. You knowingly made that decision to take out a loan, and that is something that you should be responsible for paying back. I completely understand that. That's just personal accountability. On the other hand, though, it's, to me, a little bit hypocritical, a little bit, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way when we're looking at our own nation's debt. And what are we at? $38 trillion right now in debt. And of course, that was accumulated over the decades and decades, not just President Trump. So whenever there's a system like this in place, I'm always on board with personal accountability. You take a loan, you have to pay it back, obviously. But at the same time, there is a part of me, and I know many Americans that are my age that are still saddled with a lot of student debt. They look at the U.S. government at $38 trillion in debt. They look at all of the pet projects that we have been funding for decades, sending billions of taxpayer dollars overseas for, and I know Donald Trump ended a lot of this with his cuts earlier this year, but like transgender surgery in Afghanistan, for example. So it's like, okay, you're sending all of our taxpayer dollars over, you're racking up a $38 trillion debt, and then you have the audacity to take wage garnishment and to take people that are just trying to go make a living and work and pay the bills.
Yeah, and lecture people about how it's important and how, of course, you have to pay back your bills. What do you mean you can't go in? No, I think Danny, I think that is spot on. That hypocrisy from the government is spot on. But I still think also that people should pay their loans back. Go ahead.
100%. Of course, you take out a loan, you should pay it back. Now, one thing I do not agree with, and I have people very close to me, friends, family, that have gone on to take out loans for nursing school or medical school, to be a healthcare provider, to be a doctor. And that's always bizarre that those accumulate interest, actually a pretty high clip of interest, especially today when we're talking about the shortages in healthcare and some of these essential jobs. You go to any ER room here in the St. Louis area, really across the country, you could be sitting there for 2-3 hours, stretched completely thin on healthcare staff. So I think jobs like that, I'm actually for a pause in an accumulation of interest on those kind of loans. But yeah, if somebody that's going to, let's say, University of Missouri for a gender study degree, you take out $50,000 in student loans, I do believe that should eventually accumulate interest, and you should be totally responsible for paying that back in a timely manner.
I agree. I agree with giving certain benefits, that are exclusive to student loans in order for people to get their, to get their education, to be able to pay for it. And, I understand and agree with the cry from people who are, as you said, $50,000, $80,000, sometimes these numbers are just absolutely out of control. And, these young people have, all of this debt, and that's not fair. And I actually agree with that. But the way to fix that is not by just simply saying, okay, we'll just act like none of it ever happened and you don't have to pay it back. Which was the Biden and the Democrat approach to this problem for the last, 5 to 10 years. The problem is the cost of these institutions. We need to go after these colleges and these universities and say, you're gouging, like when gas stations, when there's like an oil crisis and, gas stations aren't allowed to suddenly start charging $20, for a gallon of gas and gouge people because they know people have to get it and pay for it to get, to drive their car and get to work. That's illegal. It should, there should be some restrictions on these institutions. It should not cost tens and tens of thousands of dollars to get an education in the United States. That's the way to go about it, I think.
Well, Tony, just to give you, and you hit the nail on the head there, that was leading me to my next point.
Yeah.
And I've said this for years. When the Biden administration 4 or 5 years ago was talking about wiping out all of student loan debt, I said, guys, we're not going to the head of the snake here. Why would we saddle the American taxpayer, let's say a blue collar guy that didn't even go to college, went right into a trade after high school? Why should that man or woman be responsible for the 22-year-old kid at Mizzou or Kansas or wherever that's going to get some kind of bogus, most likely bogus degree? Why should we saddle that expense on the American taxpayer? Why are we not going after the institutions? For example, UMSL right here in St. Louis, a credit hour back in 1980, I believe was like $75, somewhere in that range for one credit hour. Today, you're looking over $400 per credit hour. So I mean, it's gone up, 8x in the last 40, 50 years for college credit. And even since I was in school 10 years ago, I mean, it's continuing to climb. And then you go to these college campuses, and I was actually just having this conversation with a family member last night who was, we were talking about how college is just so insane now. He has 3 daughters that are currently going to KU. And, they're living in like the Four Seasons over there now. I don't know the last time you've been over to a major college campus, but it's not like when we were going to college, Tony. You're not roughing it in a beat up apartment with mold coming off the ceiling. There's cranes every few blocks up in Columbia. So, they're just raking in the money up there.
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
go with the institutions.
Yeah. I totally agree. You want to talk about like paying back the student loan and, like whoever, like ending the debt or whatever, that then get the money back from the colleges, have the colleges pay off the loans.
Exactly.
I'd rather have that than it just be the taxpayers paying it off. But yeah, you're so exactly right. At a time where a college degree is less valuable than in any other time in my lifetime, it's more expensive to go to school and get that less valuable degree. It doesn't make any sense, and that's the problem, and that's where we should be focused on this student loan issue.
Exactly. The last thing I'll say, Tony, I'm not picking on Mizzou because I'm just using it as an example. It's our home school. Every university is guilty of this. But what do you think, like the head coach of the football team, Eli Drinkwitz, he just signed a new contract for, I think it's $9.5 million a year, $10 million a year. So you have like these gaudy contracts that are being handed out to coaching staff. They're always building something brand new on campus. Cranes are on every block. Books are out of control. So it's just such a money grab to me. And, I think there is value in going to college. Most importantly, I think it's good for networking and building connections in college. I mean, that was the biggest takeaway that I had. But yeah, you get a 4-year degree undergrad, and these people are having a lot of trouble just getting a job at Target or Starbucks, and they're $100,000 in debt. It's insane.
No, I agree. And I don't, I'm not against the college degree either. I just think it depends on what you are going into. If you want to become an engineer, or you want to become a doctor or a lawyer, you need to go to school and you need to learn, get that education on how to do that. But you can also want to become an electrician or a plumber and go to the trade schools and learn. It's, college
and all
is
the electives.
Yeah.
All the electives they make you take because they're required now. You have to hit your, let's say 15 credit hours per semester, but 7 of those or 6 of those have to be electives that have nothing to do with your degree. Now, when I was up at Mizzou, there was actually, and I'm not joking, this is Christmas Eve, Tony, not April Fool's. They actually had classes on the history of Harry Potter. So you're paying thousands of dollars to go to school to learn about the history of Harry Potter. I could turn on Disney Plus or Netflix right now not for free. It's like $25 a month now for my Netflix subscription.
Right.
But that's another conversation. But yeah, I could turn that on right now and get the whole history of Harry Potter. Why do I need to go to a university, an institution for that?
I had a buddy, and this is, way back 30 years ago now, whatever it is. Wow, has it been that long? It's close to that long. who went to KU. He played football at KU, and he took a class. The name of the class was Fishing Kansas. I'm sure that'll do well. And there's more skills than how to fish than there is. Yeah, you're a better life skill than learning about Harry Potter, though. That's a good point.
That's true. That's actually, out of all the bogus classes out there, that one seems somewhat logical compared to the other ones out there. While we're talking on KU, because I was pointing out Mizzou, and I just got to say I'm a proud Mizzou graduate. I still get up there once a year, but I got to bash on KU. That for me is always fun. It's better than the class they offered, and this is this was a real class. I don't even know if it's still there, but I had a cousin that went to KU. This was probably 5-6 years ago. They had a class called The Study of the Angry White Male.
Oh,
have you ever heard? Do you remember that headline going around?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild. Yep. There you go. There you go.
Maybe we could be exhibit A.
Yeah, $20,000 a year. $20,000 a year to learn about that too. That's insane. We're gonna break. We're gonna break just a couple minutes early here because we're gonna keep Danny on the line. We've got lots more to talk about, but I want to play you this sound from this Rhode Island Democrat. I want to have plenty of time to get into this and maybe even a couple other stories. Just to set the stage, a prominent Rhode Island Democrat was captured on police body cam video with the famous words that never work. It's never a good look. You know who I am. Anytime there's a story with somebody with the "you know who I am" line, it's not going to be a good one. So I'm going to play you the sound, Danny. I'll tell you the story, and we'll get some reaction, and we will talk about it next here on Colombo Company.
Are just like a couple of tots running across a meadow.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic rights and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
Severe storms are just part of life here in St. Louis, and that means your roof absorbs a lot of wear and tear. It might be time to replace it to keep the rest of your house or your business safe. I'm Mike Ferguson for TB Exteriors. Whether it's storm repair or a complete roof replacement, TB Exteriors has been providing roofing, gutter, siding, and window exteriors throughout St. Louis. And this is important, they'll assist you with insurance claims. Visit tbexteriors.com to schedule a free estimate.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Mayela Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
Welcome back to Colombo Company on 119.94.1 News Talk STL. Last show before the Christmas special starts at 4 p.m. this afternoon, running through the rest of the night and through noon tomorrow. So all night tonight, Christmas Eve, yeah, and then all morning tomorrow, Christmas morning, we will be playing for you our annual News Talk STL Family Christmas. Great stories and memories from the staff and many of the folks connected to us here at News Talk STL, along with a lot of great Christmas music. So make it the atmosphere for your family gatherings tonight and tomorrow morning. All right, this is Colombo and Company. I'm Tony Colombo on the line with News Talk STL contributor Danny Define. And Danny, I just thought this would be a fun one on a day like this. You know, let's just have some fun and dunk on some dummies. A prominent,
I'm always
right? Yeah, I knew you would
Yeah.
be. Like I said, I waited to do that. I waited for you to be on before I did this story because I knew it would be fun. A prominent Rhode Island Democrat was captured on police body cam video asking an officer, "You know who I am?" before her arrest during a recent traffic stop. Maria Bucci, 51 years old, is the chairwoman of the Democratic Committee in Cranston, the second largest city in the state, is now facing a misdemeanor DUI charge following a traffic stop on December 18th in East Greenwich, according to media reports. Let's go live to the scene here. And this police officer, who I love, doesn't give a rip who this lady is, even though she's desperate to tell the cop all about it. Here's a little bit of the sound from the traffic stop.
Right over here, miss. Miss, right over there, please.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, all right. All right. Do you have anything in your mouth?
What
You
would I
don't
have
have
in my
you don't
mouth?
have any gum or anything like that?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, so listen, all right. What else did you have to drink tonight?
Just a glass of wine. Like
That's
I
it?
told you. Yeah.
Just one glass of wine.
It's my cousin. I'm taking her home. We went to a Christmas party. I don't drink. Very random. Nor would I drive if I drank. My husband would drive if I was drinking.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I'm pretty cool, so it's fine.
So I can smell alcohol coming off your breath right now. And your driving was pretty erratic. So you I mean you can make all the faces you
No,
want.
I'm just saying if you
That's
want to do
perfectly
that,
fine.
embarrass me.
I'm not embarrassing you, miss.
You
You
are,
put
though.
yourself in this position, not me. So listen,
didn't drink.
miss, stay in the vehicle. Stay in the vehicle. Stay in the vehicle. Stay in the
I told
vehicle.
you she drinks. Stop embarrassing us.
I'm not embarrassing you, miss.
You
I'm
are.
doing my job. Yeah. Oh, I
You
am.
know I
All
am,
right.
though, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
You
that's
look me
fine.
up, right?
All right. I'm sorry. What
You
did
know
you say?
I am, right?
I don't know who you are, miss. And I frankly,
You don't
I
care,
no,
right?
I really don't. Frankly, I don't.
And you know
That's
what?
the so listen. So
the
listen to
other
me.
day-
So listen to me, okay? You can start throwing out names and start
I would never throw out a
doing
name.
out what
I
you
don't
need to
throw out
do.
a name.
It's not going to work with me. I'm telling you right now. I'm not the guy for that.
And I'm
telling
not
you.
the girl for that either.
There's more, Danny, but I want to stop it there. I'm not. Don't start throwing out names. Oh, I would never throw out names right after she played the "You Know Who I Am" card. And you should see. I know the sound. I know you could hear it through. I know you could hear it in her voice, but the video and the entitlement on her face of how just like ridiculous this is. What a joke that these police officers are pulling me over. Like it's just oozing out of her.
Yeah. Well, Tony, I actually had the video pulled up while you were playing the audio.
So
I'm like, I got to get a
Yes,
look. I got to
yes.
get a look at this lady.
Yes.
And she looks like your typical bruncher that goes out with her, you know, her friends that live in the gated community, pinkies out, and just is the holier than thou type pompous Democrat liberal that we all have come to know and not love. That's what she looks like to me.
Look,
And, okay,
go ahead,
so
go ahead.
She's
Go ahead.
with the Democrat committee in Cranston.
She's the chairwoman of the Democratic Committee in Cranston in Rhode Island. Yes. Yes.
So she's not like a U.S. Senator. It'd be wrong regardless, but let's not act like she's a U.S. Senator here. She's, you know, one of the leading members of Congress or in the Oval Office. it's a good position, I'm sure. Don't get me wrong, but lady, let's pump the brakes a little bit
Yeah,
here. You're not. Nobody knows who you are.
She's also at least ran for, I don't know if she was mayor. I know that she ran for mayor. She's been involved in politics in that area. She's a well-known Democrat in that area and currently the chairwoman of the Democratic Committee. Yeah. So yeah, that's her. And her, the idea, and this gives you a perfect look at what Democrats really think about cops and the idea of law and order. And look, are there bad cops? Of course there are. There's bad people in every industry, and when they expose themselves for being bad, then we do something about it. But by and large, the vast number of cops out there risking their lives, they don't want to deal with this any more than you do. And for her to stand there and say, "Oh, you just want to embarrass me." He's pulling over she was driving erratically. She's clearly drunk. And she thinks, because she's the main character in her world,
in her head,
that the police knew who she was and pulled her over just because they want to embarrass her, because that's what those bad, cops do. They just go after Democrats and famous people to try to embarrass them, not because he's trying to get a drunk person that could kill themselves or kill somebody else off the streets. It's so disgusting. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know how much paperwork and how much of a headache that is for a police officer to write that up after a DUI? I don't think he's going out of his way, especially for Maria Bucci. I don't know of any witch hunts going on for Maria Bucci, the Democratic politician in Cranston, Rhode Island. But it's just the entitlement. It's the disrespect for police officers. We talk about this all the time, Tony. It's when you get pulled over by a law enforcement person, you do what you are told. You put your hands on the steering wheel. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's very simple, at least in my mind. I know in your mind too, Tony. This is just common sense. This is just common decency. I don't think I know of any situation where somebody is acting in a manner like Maria, saying, "Do you know who I am?" And I'm watching the video. She's got her puffy coat on, probably from Saks Fifth Avenue.
Right.
Probably that coat unfortunately costs more than that police officer makes in an entire month, because our law enforcement are so underpaid. But I don't think that. What did she think that was going to do? How did she think that was going to play out while she's sitting there with the Gucci handbag, the big puffy coat, flipping the hair back? Do you know who I am? If I was the police officer, I don't even know if you could do this. I would charge her with 2 DWIs.
Yeah,
I would just double up. I would just double up on it, or I'd say, I found some weed in your back pocket or some coke, and we're going to write you up on that too.
I never understood.
A hard lesson needs to be learned.
Yeah, amen. I've never understood the the browbeating and insulting the cop. That's how I'm going to get out of this. Like how you think that this is going to make the situation better or resolve the problem. If I just insult this cop, call him names, tell him how important I am, and I'll have your job and all of that. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand how anybody ever thinks that is the way to go. But we see it all the time, and not on this video. At least on the clip that I have. I'm sure the extended video is out there. But for more transcripts from the body camera footage, she goes on to say, "Call my husband right now and call the attorney general and everyone else in town." This is how important she thinks she is. She's getting pulled over because she's drunk and driving erratically. She wants to get everybody on the phone to reprimand this cop and tell this cop who she is and how this is wrong. I don't know if her husband is in a position of power there or not, but the quote is, "Call my husband right now and call the attorney general and everyone else in town, because this is disgusting. God forbid I was a black person, I'd be arrested." Wow. Just check every box. Why don't you? And by the
She had to
way,
throw that in there too.
And by the way, you are being arrested because you are driving drunk. It has nothing to do with you being white or black. God forbid I was black, I'd be arrested. You are being arrested, you dummy.
Right. What does that even mean?
What does that even mean? But this is how they think. This is a great insight. Go ahead.
These people are so stupid too that the police officer, I wouldn't doubt if the police officer was a black guy.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? You never see the cop. I don't know. He might be.
But
yeah.
The thing is with that video, Tony, obviously she blew over a .08, so she was legally intoxicated or too intoxicated to drive a vehicle. But I was watching the video and listening to the audio. It's not like she's totally plastered. I could almost extend a little bit of a grace or an olive branch if she was just, completely drunk off her behind and she was just going off like this because she was so out of sorts because she was so intoxicated. But listening to that audio and watching the video, she's like barely tipsy. And so this is actually a peek into her psyche.
Yes.
I mean, this is who she is.
Yes.
We've all gotten to the point where we've had too much to drink and we've said some really stupid stuff. She was not at that point. She was like barely over, probably had to be barely over .08.
Yeah.
So this is who she is as a person. I mean, every single word that she said came straight from the heart.
You're so right. You're so right. She could have, she was so just disgusted and insulted that anybody would dare question her or a cop would dare to pull her over. If she truly did only have a glass of wine, I think is what she said that she had, or even a couple glasses of wine, she wouldn't do the field sobriety test. She, in the video, if you watch the whole video, she rejects that. Take the field sobriety test. Maybe if you only had a couple of glasses of wine, maybe maybe you're gonna be okay, and they'll let you go home. And but she just couldn't. Her ego, her attitude, her entitlement. She just couldn't believe that she was even being subjected to being pulled over, and just started the diarrhea of the mouth immediately.
That's a tough look for her. And I hope her constituents up there in Rhode Island, I hope they remember this, because if you're going to talk to a law enforcement officer like that, if you're going to have that kind of attitude to somebody in a position of authority that's just trying to do their job and make the streets a safer place for people to drive, then what does she think about you, Mr. Construction worker or plumber or electrician? I mean, this person is such an elitist and they think they're so important. And that's a very toxic person to have in any kind of position of power there in Rhode Island or anywhere else.
Yeah. Amen. I always joke that the major news networks are listening to us for content and copying us. I looked up at the TV and right now, Ashland's pointing at the television. They're playing the video on television right now. I swear to God, they listen to us, Danny.
News Talk STL. We
know it,
first.
baby.
We always get it first.
That's right. We only got a few minutes left here, but I want to really quickly get this story out there. I've been talking a lot about Minnesota, and I've talked about how I think Minnesota is going to be under the national spotlight in 2026 for several reasons. Obviously, with Tim Walz and this terrible, this ridiculous fraud controversy that's happening up there, and Ilhan Omar is always finding her way into the news. And I think that this Michelle Tafoya, the former ESPN sideline reporter, she's got a real shot at being the first Republican senator from Minnesota in like 25 years. So I think it's going to be under the national spotlight. Here's just another dip. Here's another peek into just how messed up things are in Minnesota. A viral post featuring a notice from a local McDonald's restaurant is drawing new attention to concerns about rising crime in uptown Minneapolis. Basically, the short version of this, there's this this guy who's owned this McDonald's there for over 30 years, a big part of the community. He's had to put locks and armed guards at the doors of his McDonald's the entire time that they're open. The dining room is open every day now because of trespassing and loitering and violence and damaging of property just at a McDonald's in Minneapolis. I mean, it just, every time we hear something about Minnesota, it just seems like it's falling apart. And you know why? Because it's run by people like Tim Walz. Your thoughts. Go ahead. We got about a minute and a half, Danny. Your thoughts.
Sure. Well, Santa Claus, if you're listening, and I'm sure he is, because I know Santa's a big fan of what we do here at News Talk STL. I would like to make a request for Ronald McDonald and the Hamburglar and the Cookie Monster. Please get them some Kevlar vest up there in Minnesota. That would be, Ronald McDonald. It's not where we could walk in back in the day, Tony. I'm going to go play in the ball pit, and we have this utopia. McDonald's used to be a very special place. What does that do for a little 6-year-old kid that just wants to get some chicken nuggets, and you got to go through a metal detector, and you got to, get wanded down by 5 different security guards because the place up there in Minnesota has just gone to hell in a handbasket. So that's unfortunate, but you see that all over the place. People having to bar up different products in CVS or Walgreens. I tell my story about when I was in Portland, Oregon a few years ago and how that looked. It was like a night of the Walking Dead. Everything was barred up and boarded up. So until we get these people out of power that are doing nothing to protect their community, unfortunately, this is going to be a reoccurring theme. And Minnesota, it used to be like this wonderful utopia up there, like Mall of America this time of the year. I was watching Jingle All the Way with Schwarzenegger. I don't know if you saw that movie, but it was in the early mid-90s. And it just looked like heaven on earth there at Mall of America. I don't even think I'd go there now.
Yeah.
You'd have to wear a bulletproof vest.
The one time I was ever going to go, we were up there for a gymnastics meet. We were going to go visit the mall, and there was a shooting at the mall, right? Like an hour before we went, and it was all closed and blocked off. But that's what you get. And this is the lesson to be learned going into the midterm elections and going into 2026. That's what you get when you elect people like Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz to run your state. It is a disaster up there in Minnesota. It is not a disaster here on Colombo and Company, especially when we got the great Danny Define with us. Danny, thanks so much for your time on this Christmas Eve, and Merry Christmas to you and your family, my friend. We'll talk to you again soon.
I got to go to Catholic Mass, Tony.
There you go.
That's the reason for the season. The
You
birth
know
of
it.
Jesus Christ.
Amen, brother.
Have a blessed Christmas. You and the entire audience. Ashlyn, you are wonderful. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Back at you, buddy. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you soon. All right, and we are going to open up a very special Christmas edition of Close's Cabinet with our very own Joey V. Next.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger. As Christmas approaches, I want to encourage you to support Missouri businesses this holiday season. When you're out shopping for the perfect gift, please stop by a local store and choose something made right here in the Show Me State. Missouri businesses are the backbone of our communities, and supporting them is a priority for me. To find Missouri-made goods and retailers near you, please visit buymissouri.net. Merry Christmas, and please remember to buy Missouri.
Paid for by the Office of Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A thunderous explosion on Tuesday at a nursing home just outside Philadelphia left at least 2 people dead, collapsed part of the building, and sent fire shooting out of the windows. This man was an eyewitness.
And then there was fire everywhere.
And you see people?
Yes, I see people come out, and I help people come out. Some of them didn't make it out.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says that emergency responders braved the flames and a heavy odor of gas to evacuate residents and employees. For most federal workers, Christmas Eve is the start of an extra long holiday weekend this year. Here's White House correspondent Greg Cluxton.
On at least 2 occasions this year, the president complained on social media that there are too many holidays on the calendar. But that didn't stop him from delivering a Christmas gift to most federal workers. Last week, he signed an executive order closing most federal offices on December 24th and 26th, giving employees in federal agencies 3 days off for Christmas, plus the upcoming weekend. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas says that Congress needs to address rising health insurance prices for all Americans, not only those who are signed up for Obamacare.
It was flawed from the beginning. It's been driving up the cost of health care
for Americans, not just on the exchanges, but off the exchanges too, because of all the rigid mandates. So we need to take a step back and think about how to make healthcare and health insurance more affordable for Americans more broadly.
Cotton was interviewed by the Salem Radio Network. The European Union's executive is warning of possible action against the U.S. after travel bans were imposed on 5 Europeans accused of pressuring American technology firms to censor viewpoints. It was a shortened trading day on Wall Street for Christmas Eve. The Dow was up 288 points at the closing bell. The S&P 500 up by 22. More of these stories at townhall.com.
You know me. I believe in freedom, independence, and the values that built this country. Now, I'll be the first to say President Trump has taken the steps towards reviving our economy. But inflation, trade deficits, and global uncertainty are hitting hardworking Americans where it hurts. Here's the truth. I refuse to let these hidden forces decide my future. That's why I help protect my wealth with real assets, physical gold and silver. For generations, these metals have held value no matter who's in office or what the markets do. To me, gold and silver mean independence, not just for today, but for tomorrow. If you want the peace of mind I've found, it's time to take action. I've partnered with the #1 rated precious metals company, Gold Co., and right now they're offering first-time buyers a rebate of up to 10% in bonus silver on qualified accounts. Visit LauraLikesGold.com to learn how you can help safeguard your savings with gold and silver the way I do. That's LauraLikesGold.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. Going to continue to track an AM drizzle. That'll continue to clear up as the day goes on into the early afternoon hours. Highs back towards the mid-60s. Going to be tracking overnight lows Wednesday into Thursday for Christmas Day, 53 degrees. AM fog into Thursday morning, going to be dense once again, 65 degrees for Christmas afternoon. Then into Friday, 71, Saturday, 70. Then into Sunday, going to be tracking some chances of rain and a cool down to 44. From the First Alert for Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Dr. Randy Tobler here with daughter Shannon, our ops director at Body of Health.
As you celebrate the holidays with loved ones, know that we are here whether you have a medical problem or simply want to stay healthy for the next 100 holidays.
We provide accessible, affordable primary care without the barriers of traditional insurance.
Just straightforward healthcare centered on you.
Visit bodyofhealth.com today and schedule a discovery call.
From all of us at Body of Health, Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year.
Because truth matters.
Let's speak that truth.
Because understanding matters.
Let's break this down.
With all that's happening.
And it's happening a lot faster.
What matters most is
the only question that matters here.
Are you informed?
Important issues that are facing this country.
Depend on us.
The latest events.
The information you need.
Here are the facts.
When you need it.
We always have great conversations.
You guys have a great radio station.
101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
Fox News commentary with Brian Kilmeade. Next.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Here's Brian Kilmeade.
11 months in, and Trump 2.0 has some critics. Some MAGA and most Democrats say 47 has been too focused on foreign policy, not enough on America first. I could not disagree more, because if you actually look at everything he's doing at home and abroad, it all points back to us. You know, every move he makes connects American stability, security, and yes, prosperity. Take his trek to the Gulf states. It would happen in May. Sure, it's easy to wave them off as overseas photo ops, but he didn't just come back with handshakes. He came back with roughly $2 trillion in investments, yes, and commitments, and connected our business titans with theirs. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not foreign policy. That's domestic economics. That's investment. That's jobs all coming home.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
He lines up 4 deals with countries.
Trump signed trade and mineral deals with Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam.
He's a great leader. 1019 and 94.1.
Number 1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black beard.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company. A little special open there from producer Ashlyn to producer Joey V.
Oh, thank you.
Who is filling in for Mark Close and Skip Weber. Close's Cabinet here on Colombo and Company. Of course, this is the time of week where we're usually joined by Mark Close from KC95, and it's all brought to you by Skip Weber and Weber Chevrolet. We talk about the internet, we talk about goofy pop culture things, and it's usually just a lot of grumpy old men just upset with the way of the world.
Just wearing my KC shirt today in honor
there you go. I
of
love
Mark
it.
Close. We love you. We miss you.
Yeah, but on this Christmas Eve edition of Close's Cabinet, both Mark and Skip were unable to join us, so Joey V is stepping in to the role, of course, producer of the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show. I thought this would be a perfect conversation and extension of our conversation on your show, on the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show yesterday, which I was hosting and filling in for those guys. And Joey gave us his Avatar movie review at the end of the show yesterday. Go back and check out the podcast if you missed that. And I thought, you know what? That wasn't enough time to talk to Joey about all of these Hollywood and internet and celebrity stuff that I know that you follow very well. So
yeah, when it comes
for
down
being here.
to Oscars, I collect them all, no matter what movie, no matter how minuscule of a title it is. I search it out, I find it, so I can be prepared.
I love it. So, let's start right there because I was going to have you kind of recap the Avatar review if people missed it yesterday, but we can get into that a little bit later. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because being a movie critic and being in the whatever guild organization, whatever movie critics,
it's like a newsletter. I get an email.
Yeah. You're in the cool kids club. So, you get, you get the studio news and keep up with the numbers and, all of that. So you would know this better than most, and certainly better than me. Award shows are one thing. Hollywood in general is another. I feel like movies are just not good anymore. Now there are sometimes there's a good movie.
Are you a friend of Chris Arps? You sound like him.
I know. I told you this segment is usually just old men complaining about today. But I don't know. I like when a movie comes out now, like this. We were talking about the Avatar movie yesterday. Like I expect it to be bad.
Wow.
If it's good, that's the surprise. I just expect every movie now to be bad. Do I have a false perception that Hollywood has gotten lazy and uncreative and just not as good as it used to be? Or am I just wrong and not paying attention?
I think the streaming wars have killed a lot of creativity at the box office. It used to be where you would get a movie that was a drama made for adults for about $30 million. It'd make its money back. And we were all happy with that. And, it'd be talkies. Let's say A Few Good Men, one of the greatest movies ever, but it's just people in a courtroom. Now, because of the streaming wars, the windows of movies being in the box office at the theater have been shortened like crazy. So they don't even have time to build up word of mouth. And also, the studios are so scared that they're only going to bet on IP superhero movies.
Oh.
And that's all we're really getting. Unless it can make $1 billion, studios are scared and they're not making those $30 million dramas for adults anymore, which there's a lot of great gems in there. Sometimes they go straight to streaming or they're not greenlit at all.
And I feel like we don't tell any new stories. We're just redoing, you know, like this is our take on Snow White. This is, you know, here's the third version of Superman in the last 10 years that we're going to roll out. Like it's just always the same. Like you said, IP, it's always the same IPs. It's always the same stories. You know, they'll gender swap and race swap and put their own spin on these things because that, you know, I guess they think that that's a way to sell tickets and drum up interest. But in my opinion, that's just the way to drive the fans of those IPs away. And I think we've seen it like with Star Wars and the Marvel movies, how they've just completely fallen off. Like,
yeah, Star Wars, they've had to take a
make
break. It used to be like 2 a year would come out in the box office.
You don't need to make Captain America black. Make a movie about a black superhero,
or make them red. You know, switch it up.
I mean, no,
we need a red Hulk.
Right. And I know that the black Superman is in some of the recent books, but that's not, you know, whatever. So yeah, I just feel like there's no creativity left, and it's always like lowest common denominator. Try to have some spectacular looking scene that you can put in a trailer, and hopefully that sells the tickets to the people.
I mean, of course, our attention spans are shorter because of all the phones, and then there's more channels than ever. So it's hard to get the advertising to the person when it was just 3 channels and we were all just one hive mind, you know, go to the water cooler, have that water cooler conversation about the big movie. So I'm constantly arguing with Chris Arps on the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show. He says, I didn't see the trailer for that. Like, I don't know if they were going to advertise that on Fox News. I'm in a lucky position where I get to go to these screenings for free, and then I get to report to them. I get to report back on them Fridays at 5:45. So hopefully you're listening to Joey V's movies
every week.
I get it. The movies that you might love may not be in your algorithm or reaching you.
Yeah.
So it's harder to find those diamonds.
Yeah, but they're out. They are definitely out there. I watch a lot of commentary channels on YouTube, and specifically about Hollywood and various actors and actresses and that sort of stuff. So my algorithm is set to get all the movie trailers, and they're definitely out there. They're definitely promoting them. But does it work? I mean, like, does it work? I feel like I personally feel like all these movies have bombed, and and it just Hollywood sucks now.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's all about making money, and I can't imagine that they would just keep making bad movies if they're not making money. Is it working from a financial aspect? The third version of Superman and another Avatar movie that's basically the same exact movie 3 times in a row. Like, is it working for the studios and they're still making money?
I guess we got to look specifically at Zootopia 2, a movie that I did not like at all, but has crossed the $1 billion mark for Disney and has helped put them past the only studio this year to make $6 billion. So people were craving
this year.
Yes.
Wow.
They were craving more talking animal movies that they've been making since the beginning of time. And I guess there was an audience for that, especially overseas. I'm looking for original adult dramas that are just different than everything else. And some of my favorite movies of the year also luckily got to be popular. So One Battle After Another with Leonardo DiCaprio, completely original idea that's slightly based on a book. That's made over $100 million. And it's going to win every Oscar and then get more buzz. But I think what happened with that is Warner Brothers was actually good about promoting it and having that slow rollout where you platform it. You put it in the cities on the coast first so word of mouth can build, and then they keep it in the theaters for a lot longer than they would a Netflix. If Netflix even agrees to theatrical at all, it's 2 weeks and then it's on the streamer and everyone's trained. I'll just wait.
Mm-hmm.
So Warner Brothers, they got good word of mouth. They made a good movie. They had a director that everyone loved with Paul Thomas Anderson and Leonardo DiCaprio that doesn't make junk, and I think it's going to sweep the Oscars. And same with the one Marty Supreme that just came out today. Timothy Chalamet playing ping pong. That does not sell tickets, really, me saying that. But once you see it, once you hear the word of mouth, it's gonna get nominated for everything as well. I think it'll do well.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to like talk politics in Hollywood, but I'll say it. And if somebody, if you want to disagree, you can. But I think it's been really obvious that I hate the word woke, but that's what it is. The woke agenda has influenced movie making heavily over the last few years, especially when it comes to some, like when we're talking about Disney and Marvel and these types of movies. Is that going as strong today as it was 2 or 3 years ago, or are studios, you think, changing that process and running everything that they do through that filter, as maybe some sensibilities change in the country? That
To
makes
me,
sense.
it feels like when you have the most visible and profitable studio in the world, Disney, and they put out anything, people are going to pay attention. And if there's anything that seems like it has a message in it, people may recoil from it. Now, I would say it's not smart to have the Buzz Lightyear movie have gay characters in it if you plan to make a ton of money. But for visibility, that's interesting. I don't mind that plot, but it tanked at the box office for something. So I think story should be first. You need to focus on the story. And then if there happens to be a reason in the story to have some sort of, gay characters or something like that, then that's fine with me.
Yeah, there's no reason to have that kind of character, any type of
That shouldn't be the focus,
in
of the marketing.
in any kids in any kids movie. I don't want to see. I'm not like just slamming woke politics. If we're talking about superhero movies and kids movies, I'm not attacking woke politics. I'm attacking any politics. It's like what's happened with sports, and I've talked a lot about this, and Crane and I were just talking about it the other day. I was always my whole life a sports fanatic, watching the NFL, watching Major League Baseball, watching hockey, and I barely watch any sports now because sports was the way that you unplugged and you got away, and everybody left their politics and all of that division, at the door, and you all root for the same team, and it brings you together, and it gets, it's a chance to unplug from the real world and go on an adventure or watch a great story or whatever it may be. I don't want any political message in my Buzz Lightyear movie, but I feel like, that's been a focus of these studios.
Yeah, maybe internally they're giving a chance to people that are being marginalized as directors. So they think, let's get the first, gay black woman to direct a movie. But then you realize we are making a kids movie, and any sexuality is a little weird.
Yeah, why are we even talking about it with a kids movie? Is it changing, or are we still on that path, you think?
I only look for challenging movies myself, so I'm not sure. One of my favorite movies of the year is one of the most hated movies called Eddington. It's got Pedro Pascal, Joaquin Phoenix, so Joker. Joaquin Phoenix. And it takes place in 2020, heat of COVID, in this New Mexico town where everyone's just yelling about masks. And most of the audience overwhelmingly said, I hated this movie because it took me back to that complicated time in my life where we were yelling about masks. But I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah. If it's a good story.
Yeah, it was a great story. So I highly recommend Eddington, even though some of my best friends hated it.
Yeah.
But exactly, it's not a kid's movie. It's rated R.
Right.
I knew what I was getting into when I was going. Most kids' movies, parents are just taking them and hoping for the best.
Well, I could do a whole deep dive on Pedro Pascal. How this guy is like the leading man of Hollywood right now is just.
Yeah, there's a Mandalorian and Grogu movie that's coming out.
Baffling to me. Oh,
and he plays the Mandalorian, right? He's got the mask on, but you don't really know it.
Can Star Wars be recovered?
I mean, maybe they're doing the Ryan Gosling one, and they're doing the Mandalorian.
What's the Ryan Gosling one?
I forget what it's called. It's like a guy who flies ship. It comes out in 2 years. I think Mando and Grogu is next year, and then the Ryan Gosling one comes out next year.
Are they Are they like the Han Solo movie and the Rogue One?
Yeah, I think they're
like,
one-offs.
they're like Star Wars adjacent. They're not like the main.
Mhm.
We're not going back to like the like the Skywalker.
Yeah, I think once you get into
Line.
the George Lucas trying to retcon the people's bloodstream with the midichlorians, you're like, there's too much canon in this for me to keep up with. Let's just do a one-off story and enjoy that and see if that works.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, except for the enjoy part, because that's what Disney has been unable to do.
Star Wars Starfighter, that's the name of the Ryan Gosling one, coming out in 2 years.
Gotcha. And Ryan Gosling is he's the Starfighter?
Yeah.
All right.
Probably has some cool outfits, cool jacket like he did in Drive. You know, he's really good at driving.
I'm sure he does. You mentioned talking to Joey V, producer of the Tim Jones and Chris Harp show, of course, also the Todd Showalter show. He's filling in for Mark Close today, Closest Cabinet here on Colombo and Company. You talked about how like the theater experience is not as it's some movies don't even go to the theater. Some are there very for a short period of time because the streaming platforms want it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I'm, dunking on Hollywood in this conversation, I think that's terrible, because as we kind of get back to the Avatar and the Avatar review that you gave yesterday on Tim Jones and Chris Harp show, some movies are made for the theater, and that's a cool experience. I told you that, like, I took my son to the Jurassic World movie earlier this summer. It's a terrible movie. Like plot wise, character wise, whatever.
Everything goes sideways because of a Snickers bar wrapper.
Exactly.
It's stupid right off the bat.
In the most like
just sucked in the door.
Environmentally controlled, monitored, state-of-the-art lab possible on Earth.
Well, they're just messing with mutants.
A dropped candy wrapper is what sets the storytelling is terrible. But on the big screen,
oh yeah,
the rumbling of the dinosaurs roar and footsteps. I mean, it's still just like I can see my 8-year-old son just like, oh, this is so freaking cool.
Give me these toys so I can smash them together.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think the move away from theaters is helping Hollywood in any way either. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. It's embarrassing that Netflix wants to win these Oscars, but they also want to ruin the theatrical experience. Hopefully, if they win this bid and they buy out Warner Brothers, they change their ways. Netflix has gone back on some of the things they stood pat on before. They weren't going to do live. They weren't going to do sports. They do that now. So maybe they will buy into the whole theatrical experience, because that's how you make money. Netflix has kind of plateaued. If everyone in the world has a subscription, there's no way to make more money for your stockholders. The only way to make more money is to put a movie in theater and make $1 billion, which K-pop Demon Hunters easily would have made $1 billion.
Right.
But they kept it to themselves. They put it in theaters for a couple weeks so they could qualify for the Oscars. It will win Best Song for Golden, but they're stingy and they need to share some of that wealth. They're one of the biggest creators in the world, Netflix. They make thousands of movies every year, but they just keep them to themselves and they die. And everyone just assumes Netflix doesn't mean quality.
Yeah. And you talk about the award shows, like if Avatar is, I'm sure they'll be up for multiple awards and probably win some. And a lot of those will be for the set design and the costumes and just the incredible visuals that are in that movie. And you lose all that art and the reason why it's winning those awards. If you're watching it on the television in your bedroom or on your laptop at home, not on the big screen with the 3D glasses on and, the way it really comes through. So,
yeah. My favorite place to be is in the theater. And, Predator Badlands, amazing movie in the theater. As soon as I finished it, I was like, man, I wish I'd seen that in 3D because these visuals were incredible. But it's going to end up on Disney Plus in a few weeks and no one will ever know just how great it was watching that in the theater with the bass rumbling you.
Yeah. We're going to extend this special Joey V Christmas Eve version of Closest Cabinet as we get you ready for the Christmas special. Another Joey V production, by the way.
Couldn't have done it without you.
I want to talk a little bit about AI and what you think its influence could be on movie making in the coming year, and maybe the
people get in trouble when they admit to
years.
it, but everyone's using it,
right? Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that as we go along here. I want to quickly remind you that Closest Cabinet is brought to you by Weber Chevrolet. As we talked about last week with Mark Close, Mark's and his band had their busiest year ever in 2025, and looks like they're going to be playing a whole bunch in 2026. And we talked about what a great local music scene we have here, and how involved Weber Chevrolet and all the help in the community with the local music scene, but in so many other ways as well. Weber Chevrolet has been in the St. Louis area for nearly 125 years. Just an incredible number, and you don't stick around in the same community for 125 years if you are not doing right by your customer generation after generation. So if you are looking for a new vehicle, nobody's going to give you a better price on that vehicle. Nobody's going to give you more for your trade-in, and nobody's going to take care of you in that vehicle better for the entire time that you own it than the team at Weber Chevrolet. Check out what's happening at all the Weber dealerships by going to weberchevrolet.com. All right, we are going to continue the conversation with Joey V, this special edition of Close's Cabinet on Christmas Eve, next here on Colombo Company.
Mr. Grinch, you really are a
Follow Tony Colombo on Twitter at Tony Colombo Talk.
charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black bill.
News, analysis, opinion.
They're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
John Bill Roofing reminds you we are in the stormy season, and that means if you have even the smallest leak in your roof, you could soon have a much bigger issue. Call the John Bill to make sure that your biggest investment is protected. That call can save you major dollars. If you do get hit during a storm, John Bill has a rapid response team. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, John Bill.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
So Santa has a naughty list. You don't want to be on it. You didn't want to be on Johnny Carson's list either. Yes, the Tonight Show host had a list of guests who were banned from ever appearing again, and probably a list of those who were never going to get on the first time. A lot of this detailed in the new book, Love, Johnny Carson. Among those banned, the original host of The Tonight Show, Steve Allen. He was a guest more than 60 times when Carson was hosting. But then a crew member on the show said, Steve Allen is rude to all of us. Carson didn't waste any time. Standing up for his crew, said Steve Allen will not be back. And the same thing happened with another guest that had 80 appearances. His name, Jerry Lewis. Ellen DeGeneres was also banned because she was told, don't tell a particular joke. She did anyway. What was the joke? I'm not saying. Carson's influence still lives. I don't want to be banned from anywhere. Then another guest that Carson booted was the guy that hosted The Tonight Show for 22 years after Carson left, Jay Leno. What was his issue? Well, Leno's jokes just didn't hold great response with the audience, and Carson didn't like them anyway. So Leno failed with the one audience member that really counted, Johnny Carson.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
So I hear an out-of-towner asking someone, where's the best place to eat? Before they could respond, I said, Cafe Napoli. Where? Well, I said, Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2 in Town and Country, Napoli 3 in St. Charles, right next door to Napoli C, and then you got Napoli Kirkwood, plus you got Napoli Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield. You'll find Napoli everywhere. It's not too early to book a party and buy gift cards. Cafe Napoli.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at newstalkstl.com.
Brought to you by Alamo Military Collectibles, Monocle's Pizza, and Gemini Wealth Group.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community, Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men and women to improve their sexual performance. And now for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get nearly 100. There's no need to pay expensive prices for Viagra or Cialis. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Change your life for the better and have fun. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. That's 800-631-2030.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Larry Connors along with Jerome, and we're wishing you a most blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Larry Connors USA.
Now, weeknights 6 until 8
on News Talk STL.
Better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company. We are now just minutes away from the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special, our annual Christmas special here at the station. And once again, this year, full of great Christmas music and stories and memories of the holidays from the whole staff and everybody connected to us here at News Talk STL. Right now, we are wrapping up Close's Cabinet. Usually, we talk to Mark Close from KC95, Skip Weber from Weber Chevrolet, but this special Christmas edition of Close's Cabinet, we have the great Joey V, producer Joey V, in studio.
Hey, bud.
And along with the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show and the Todd Showalter show on the weekends, of course, the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special is another Joey V production.
My girlfriend picked every song.
That's
she is
fantastic.
a Christmas Carol expert.
So, Joey puts in a lot of great work in putting this special together every year. So check it out. It starts at 4:00 this afternoon and runs through noon tomorrow. So all of your Christmas Eve festivities and all of your Christmas morning festivities, perfect thing to put on in the background, perfect atmosphere for your Christmas celebrations. The News Talk STL Family Christmas Special. Couldn't do it without Joey V and couldn't do it without our great sponsors, including Di Gregorio's Italian Market, Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant, Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill, Realty Net Service Realtors, Ruthie's Family Restaurant, and Williams Brothers Meat Market in Washington, Missouri. Thank you so much to our sponsors of the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special. And thank you to Joey V for all of his hard work. I can't wait to listen to it. I love it. Each and every year, I listen to it the whole time. It's just on in the background the whole time it's on. For me, it's just fantastic. So make sure you are checking that out. Just talking about, I'm just doing the normal Closest Cabinet thing here. An old man complaining about, the kids today. And we're talking about Hollywood and Disney and Marvel and all of these things, Star Wars. I wanted to get your thoughts. Obviously, we talk a lot about AI on this show. And I know that AI is becoming a thing, that's going to be a massive topic and a massive part of our lives going forward, whether you like it or not. AI is coming, and it's already starting to show up in movies and in music and other entertainment. How much you think AI, how big is that role going to be in movie making going forward? And I mean, like starting like now, like it's not like, 10 years down the road, maybe there'll be these AI movies. I think AI is here. And it's already making making an impact, and it's only going to get more. What do you think?
Yeah, Disney just made a huge investment into Sam Altman's OpenAI Sora.
Yeah.
They put $1 billion in. So
ChatGPT.
Disney paid $1 billion, but they get in stock in OpenAI. Basically, they're investing in OpenAI. And that means that Sora, the video creation tool, can use 200 of Disney's characters legally, and they can make short form videos. Anyone who goes to Sora, you can make character videos out of actual Disney IP. And then Disney's going to put the best AI slop, I guess, on Disney Plus. I don't know why anyone would care about that, but I mean, I guess there's going to be some good stuff that comes out of that.
Spend
the best
5
of the best.
minutes on social media, on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or something like that, and the amount of AI slop is incredible.
I'm tired of just scrolling through Instagram and Facebook and seeing gigantic, fat wrestlers in the ring facing off against each other. Like,
I know.
This giant behemoth of a guy going up against Mark Henry, the strongest man in the world. That's constantly in there. I'm like, who clicks on this stuff?
Yeah. Or Tupac Shakur hanging out with Mike Tyson in a boxing ring. Like it just it's so much.
At the Oscars last year, there was a movie that got dragged for openly admitting that they used AI. This was The Brutalists. This was the Adrian Brody movie about architecture. And they used a little bit of AI for the blueprints that just happened to be on the table for the Brutalist architecture. And then they used a little bit of AI to improve the accents of these Hungarian people. And you think touches like that maybe make sense.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I'm okay with AI as a tool, as a tool in
and don't hide
making,
it.
Music,
Admit
and
it.
don't hide it. Right. I don't want. I'm nervous about, a movie studio just telling ChatGPT to write me a new Superman movie.
Yeah, I think this Disney agreement with OpenAI is going to improve ethics in AI. Maybe that's the hope that'll come out of this.
Yeah. Well, we talk about AI on Mondays. I'm definitely going to bring this up on Monday with Mike McCleary from Intervine, our AI expert here on the show. And that's super interesting that deal is between Disney and OpenAI, because one of the things that I've learned from Mike in our conversations is that Sam Altman and OpenAI's biggest problem is, while they are the market leader, they have the most name recognition, and they probably have, the best technology, or at least, equal technology. Their biggest problem is they don't have billions and billions of dollars like Google does with Gemini or Elon Musk does with Grok. And maybe that's, part of the inspiration for this partnership. It gives OpenAI and ChatGPT and Sora, this cash influx or resources that they otherwise wouldn't have, and to compete at that level.
And I think Disney can now sue Google and Grok for using their characters without the right to use it. Since they have made a legal agreement with OpenAI, now it's anyone else tries to use these characters, we're taking you to court.
Yeah. What do you think about AI in movies? Do you agree with me that it's okay if it's a tool? And like you said, tell us about it. Do you have a line like where you're a little bit more uncomfortable? Like if there's an AI character on this, although I don't know much of the difference between CGI. I mean, we're faking it already. What do you think about AI, and are you excited about it? Or are you nervous about its influence?
It's hard to even avoid AI because every tool that you use starts calling itself AI. Just using your email now, it immediately pops up. Would you like AI to write this better for you? Everything you Google now pops up with the AI result. So did that count as you using AI? And then Photoshop, everything you do in Photoshop, there is like an AI button in there that could make it easier for you. But again, these are tools. Yeah, it's scary. The line is blurry. I found myself liking movies with more humans in them, made by master directors that are waiting for the sky to be that perfect shade of pink.
Yeah.
And the right time of day. And you can tell it was made by hands. When you watch claymation movies and you saw the fingerprints, you thought, oh, that was made by real people. I saw Avatar and I thought, he didn't even have a cinematographer. He recorded ones and zeros off of these characters' motion capture faces, and then years later, he put in the background and the camera angle that he wanted.
Yeah, because you said this new Avatar movie was actually filmed at the same time as the last one.
Yeah, it was
it's literally been years, like you said, that
those actors
since they did this.
Were working for 18 months straight trying to get this movie done. And then it just, a computer poops it out. And it's not as impressive as it used to be when the first one came out in like 2009, I think.
Computers don't poop.
They export. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Only a couple minutes left here, Joey. Is there, I've been very, I'm attacking and being pessimistic about everything. So let's end on a positive note. Is there anything coming up in 2026, maybe even in the first half of the year, any exciting, are there any big blockbusters on the way? You mentioned there's new Star Wars movies being made. Hopefully Disney can, turn that ship around. Is there anything coming up in the new year that you're particularly excited about?
I've always been a huge fan of the 28 Days Later series. And so now they're on the 28 Years Later. And Ralph Fiennes, Schindler's List himself, he is still putting in performances that are incredible. Not like Liam Neeson's, though. Liam Neeson's has given up. He's making Taken 17. Ralph Fiennes is incredible in the last 28 Years Later. And the next one, The Bone Temple, comes out next month. And I can't wait to see that.
When I picture Ralph Fiennes and Liam Neeson in my head together, it's the same face.
Of course.
I have to take a second and separate this because at first it comes together and it's the same face.
Well, one's got a set of skills.
Yes.
And has an Irish accent.
That's for sure. Joey, thank you for filling in for Mark Close today. Thanks for talking with us on this Christmas Eve. Spend some time with us, and of course, be tuned in on Monday when everybody gets back to the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show on Monday. And have a great weekend.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you for everything, buddy. Producer Ashland, thank you for everything. And perfect song
Dominic.
to go out on. The Italian Christmas song, Dominic the Donkey. All right, we're going to have the O'Reilly Report coming up here next. And then at 4 o'clock, the News Talk STL Family Christmas Special starts. And it will be on through noon tomorrow. So all tonight and tomorrow. Keep it right here for the News Talk STL Christmas Special. Merry Christmas. And thank you for listening to us. Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 lumen waterproof